Hello everybody, this is Politics Around Washington. Gonna do a little video here talking about the Jimmy Kimmel being indefinitely suspended. And I'm gonna do a video I don't think I've ever seen nobody do yet, and I think there's a little more to this than people have realized. And that and I think ABC even stroked Jimmy a little more than people are realizing. And again, that's my opinion. And you're going to hear me say my opinion a lot in this video because I don't have access to Jimmy's contract. I did a Microsoft Edge search and it says his contract ends in 26. So that's about all I know about his contract. And most people's contracts, you got no clue. But I want you to watch the entire video because I'm going to give you some information here. And I want you to take this information, I want you to think about it, and think hard about it and say, does it lean more this way? Almost like if you was in court. You listen to the information I'm going to give you. Okay, does it lean more this way? Or does it lean more this way? Does it look more like they would go this way or go this way? Because I've got my opinion behind it. So towards the end of this video, I'll tell you when it's time to issue your thumbs up or your thumbs down. Because I'm going to want you to give this video a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And the thumbs up is going to mean one thing and the thumbs down is going to mean another. So let's go ahead and get started. First things first, let me say this. I can care less if you are white, black, Hispanic, green, purple, yellow, anything. I could care less. Race does not mean anything to me. And actually, I saw a video yesterday or day before about Charlie talking about race. And yet how he didn't see people as race. And he was talking to a gentleman, and it's like wow. He was talking about a gentleman dealing with reparations. Charlie Kirk was one that was somebody that you might not always agree with, but you'll agree with him more than you'll disagree with. But you're not going to always agree with anybody. There is not one person out there, even the person watching this video right now, you think about it. There's not one person in your life you agree with every single time. Nobody. Not your mother, not your father, not your brother, not your sister, not your wife, not your kids. Nobody. If there is, that would be God. And sometimes you won't even agree with God every time. And some of those times you won't agree with God is when you lose somebody. The first thing you're going to say is, why? Why did you take him? Why did you take her? But you know what? God has his reasons. And I've actually seen people talk about, which people have also commented on that, maybe God used this as a wake-up call for this planet, because this planet was getting out of hand. This planet is getting out of hand. Charlie Kirk didn't only touch people in the United States. Charlie Kirk touched people all across the world. Start to say United States again. All across the world. Just look at all the visuals that's taking place all over the world. It's just insane. Charlie Kirk touched so many people. My cat digging in the carpet. But yeah, I gotta Garfield, stop. He Yeah, I never met the man a day in my life. Garfield, get. Sorry about that. Never met the day in my life. You know, my cat lives up to name Garfield, let me tell you. Let me just put that in this video for the record. My cat lives up to the name Garfield. But never met the day, Charlie Kirk a day in my life. But after watching his videos over the years and stuff, I felt like I knew this gentleman all my life. And if this shooter thought that he was going to put an end to Charlie's message, he was sadly wrong. You know, on July 13th, 2024, they shot President Trump, or a person shot President Trump. And I said on that day, that was the day that President Trump won the election. And when election time came around, what happened? He won all swing states. He had a number of Democrats switch over and vote for him. And it still wasn't enough of a wake-up call for the Republicans. Still wasn't enough of a wake-up call for the Republicans. The fact that the Democrats lost voters and they went over and they voted for Trump, that still wasn't a wake-up call for them. And while I'm making this, I just thought I got another clip that I used even in a post or someplace else that I'll put in this video someplace, where their positivity rating, I think it's in the upper 20s, low 30s or something like that. It's crazy. Then they assassinated Charlie Kirk on September 10th. Thought they was going to end his message. Now look at this. You tried to shut down Charlie's voice, and look here. After September 10th, there has been 62,000 plus campus chapters requesting to open up. And the number continues to climb. In just a day or two, it went from 32,000 to 62,000. So in just a day or two, it climbed by 30,000 chapters. And today it was announced his wife is the new CEO of Turning Point USA. If you thought you was going to shut his voice down, you were sadly mistaken. Sadly mistaken. But my one problem I have with the Republican Party is why did it take this? Why did it take this? I've been ever since Trump got shot on July 13th, I have been on the next level. Okay? I've been on the next level. To the point I got a different Facebook page and everything. That's where I got the politics around Washington and stuff. And multiple times I've caught my stuff posting so much stuff on my personal page that I just did it again. I caught my stuff after Charlie got shot. I was in the same zone. After Charlie got shot, I was in the same zone where I was flooding my personal page because I was so upset. I was flooding my personal page with all this stuff because I was so upset. So I just put a message on my personal page telling people that I'll let them know when they need to go look at my political page. Because I don't want my personal page to turn into a political page. Because it can happen so fast. But why were the Republicans sitting on their hands? Not all of them, but a lot of them. You look at how things are now, and you look at how things was on September 9th. and tell me there wasn't a difference. Tell me there was not a difference from September 9th to September 10th. And I'll tell you you're wrong. Charlie Kirk should not have had to lose his life in order for it to wake up the Republican Party. So now the Democrats are worried because they already did not know how to take the way the Republicans that were awake and were doing stuff. The Republicans or the Democrats in Washington didn't know how to deal with Trump because everything Trump said on the trail, on the campaign trail, he was doing. So now, with charge of assassination, you got all these people that start coming out on the Democrat side, or leftist, far leftist, or whatever you want to call them, and they start cheering the fact that he was assassinated. You got some of them that, even though the investigators of the shooting came out and said that the shooter, and you notice I keep saying shooter, his assassination, I'm not saying the person's name. I'm not giving him no more credit. I'm not saying the person's name that took the life of Charlie Kirk. But even though the police said that he was living with his transgender boyfriend, and he'd been radicalized, and none of this stuff is opinion based. All of it's out there in the press briefings that happened. You know, Jimmy Kimmel goes on the air and says that a MAGA person did this. And then he refuses to apologize. And he went on and said a few other things. I'm not going to repeat the stuff he said. But he went on to say a few other things. But then he refuses to apologize. So then on top of it, ABC's in the process, from what I heard, so I'll say opinion based here, from what I heard, they're in the process of a selling of the network. So, and so I don't know if it's, I don't know, you know, who exactly is in the process to sell. I just know that something that Jimmy Kimmel does could possibly affect it, in my opinion. So then Kimmel puts his foot in his mouth. So then we find out that Jimmy Kimmel has been indefinitely suspended. So why was Jimmy Kimmel indefinitely suspended? So let's take a look at this. You see right here, his contract ends in May 2026. So he's got like, 9 months or 8 months left on his contract. So, again, don't know what his contract terms are. But he might have it wrote in his contract that if you fire me, you got to pay me out the rest of my contract. Which means that they would have to pay him all 8 months of his contract. So this is where the thumbs up and thumbs down comes in. So again, keep that in mind. This is all opinion based now. Okay, it's my opinion based. So ABC could be thinking, since he stuck his foot in his mouth, it's like ding, 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 ding. His ratings have plummeted. He's no longer a cash cow, and I'll show you his ratings here in a second. 2 different charts, and the one chart makes it look absolutely horrible. His ratings had started sinking and never went up. They just like sunk, like a boat full of water with a hole in it. It just kept getting lower and lower and lower. Never went back up. So some bells went off in ABC's head, and it was like, we can take and indefinitely suspend him and pull him off the air and not have to pay him because of stipulations in the contract. Think about that. That would be pretty smart, wouldn't it? Because if they fire him, they would have to pay him all 8 months. So, I mean, think about it. If you take and you work a job, they suspend you for 3 days, for a week, you come back, and you get paid. You start working again, and you make money. But if you get fired, you're fired. But you don't have a contract. Now, you hear people about having these contracts where you can't compete. Remember how the whole cancer culture took place? And how he took and he was part of the people that was saying all kinds of stuff about Tucker Carlson when the whole people were mad because Tucker got access to the January 6th videos and stuff. And it was basically, in my opinion, it was proven that they was lying and wasn't showing all the footage and all that stuff. And then when they knew that Trump won the presidency and all that stuff was going to be released, they started deleting information. And then again, in my opinion, the auto pen took and pardoned all those people, because that's under investigation as well. That it was the auto pen that took and did a lot of those pardons. So, but remember how all that went down? Well, because they also have things in contracts where some people will say, if you work for a company, they'll have it wrote in their contract where if you do something and cause yourself to be let go, you can't go to a company that's considered a competitor. So, for instance, like, who could I use? Like, it would never happen, but like, Tucker Carlson couldn't go to CNN. So say something like that. That would never happen. So, but yeah. So that's the reason why I'm thinking that's what this is over. So this is where we get into a thumbs up and a thumbs down. So, and remember, I got more information to show you, so I'll go ahead and let you know now. But what do you think? Give me a thumbs up. Do you think that they just suspended him over the Tucker Carlson, over his comments around Charlie Kirk? Or do you think they suspended him over the money because if he would have left, this is the other thing too, if they would have let him go and he didn't have that clause where he couldn't go no place, he could have went someplace else. He could have created a YouTube channel like Tucker Carlson did and start bashing ABC. Now, if you got this sale that's going on with ABC or wherever it is, I'm not for sure, so I'll say opinion based here. I'm not for sure what network or what exactly that is, but I do know there is a potential sale going on. If they had this sale going on and Jimmy Kimmel gets fired and all of a sudden he creates a YouTube channel, and all the people that are mad the fact that he got fired, you think they wouldn't go to his YouTube channel? You seriously think that wouldn't happen? But by them suspending him indefinitely, he can't do that because he's still under contract. He still belongs to ABC. So he cannot do that. So, again, thumbs up if you think he got indefinitely suspended over the Charlie Kirk comment, or do you think a thumbs down, or do you think ABC indefinitely suspended him to quiet him and to save money so they didn't have to pay him? So that is the true question. Now here is one of the charts I was talking about. I'm not for sure who this chart, I don't know if it says it down below here or not. I'll let you read the fine details to it. But this talks about how Jimmy Kimmel was averaging 2.4 million viewers in 2015. Because the numbers in this chart are different than the numbers off the chart that I got from Fox News this morning. So before I started putting this video together. So actually that's what gave me the idea for this video. So you can see 2.4 million viewers in 2015. And in 2025 they dropped to a 1.6 million. 1.6 million in 2025. That's almost a million viewers. Now, if you go on down, it says, however, and then it goes on to say the average is 1.7 to 1.8 million total viewers during the second quarter. So I'm assuming they're talking about that as nightly viewers, 1.7 to 1.8 million nightly viewers in the second quarter. But if you go down, and it continues to say the show's however, it has been down. I'll get this right here in a second. It has been down in the 18 to 49 demographic with only 261,000 viewers. And that is the age range from 18 to 49. 261,000 viewers. So, I mean, I know people that put up YouTube videos that get more than this. This is insane. So, and these numbers here really don't show how bad it is. So I don't know where these numbers were. Microsoft, I mean, it says Soap Central down here, and it says +2. So I guess there's two other locations where they're pulling these numbers from. But one of the charts that you hear a lot of people talk about is the Nelson chart, and I'll show you that here in a second. But I spoke about the Democrat leaders in Washington and stuff like that, and actually the Democrat leaders in the city. And the reason why I can't stand them is because they don't care about their Democrat voters, and I mean that with every fiber of my body. And I also mean with every fiber of my body, as long as you keep voting these people in, you get what you get. If you vote them in, that's what you get. If they keep causing you problems and you keep voting them in, that's what you get. If you go to a car lot and they keep selling you trashy cars and you keep going back and buying another car, even though they even sold you 3 or 4 lemons, what do you think's going to happen if you go back and buy another car from that same car lot? You're probably going to get another lemon, and it's going to break down on you, and you're going to be going back and buying another one. You want change? You go to a different car lot. You want change in your city? You want change in your district? You vote the people out of office that you want in. I'm talking about Republican and Democrat too, as far as this goes. But if you're somebody on the Democratic Party, and if the people are not taking care of you the way they should, vote their butts out. And again, I was talking about the AutoPen situation earlier, and I made those comments for a purpose, because I got a little clip I'm going to show you. Kash Patel, FBI director at Kash Patel, was destroying them in Washington a day or two ago. And there was one clip that was absolutely hilarious. And if you go to my YouTube channel, I got them on my Facebook page as well, Politics Around Washington. One of the senators was asking him why he didn't sign a document, and was going through all this. And the reason why the document didn't get signed by him, because it would delay the document of getting in the hands it needed to be in. So he just went ahead and submitted it. He gave the permission for it to be submitted. So now this senator is trying to throw it in his face And just watch this. And we're going to go right into the other chart after this video. This is absolutely hilarious and priceless.
Whistleblower.
In response to the blowback she received, Attorney General Bondi also pushed the FBI to review approximately 100,000 Epstein-related records on an arbitrarily short deadline in March, and the FBI was directed to flag any documents that mentioned President Trump. Nothing came of that review until July, when DOJ and FBI released an unsigned memorandum stating there is no incriminating client list. Why was this July 7th memorandum unsigned?
Would you prefer I've used AutoPen?
So yeah, you can see there, the senator is asking, why isn't your signature on this document, these forms or whatever? And FBI Director Kash Patel is like, would you rather me use the AutoPen? And this, if you're asking yourself, why would he even say that? Because the president, my knowledge is the president's the only one who can use an AutoPen. It's because he wasn't where the document was. He's elsewhere taking care of stuff. So because he's elsewhere taking care of stuff, he just gave the okay for the document to be sent and not be further delayed. But I guess this senator would have rather the document be further delayed, because if it was further delayed, guess what? This senator would have been complaining about how long it took the document to get there. Take a look at this here. This is what I was talking about. Remember the sinking boat I was talking about earlier, sinking boat? This is the Nelson, and I think this is the chart that you hear a lot about. I don't know where the other chart came from. It was earlier, but it's just something that was provided by Microsoft Edge. So, and you can see, and it goes from 2010 to 2025. So it's a 15-year comparison of Jimmy Kimmel's ratings. All right. And it says P 18 to 49, so I'm assuming that's 18 to 49-year-olds. Again, I'm just assuming. But look, 0.53, 0.53, 0.54. So I'm assuming that's going to be 2010, 2011, and 2012, 2013. So then it shoots up from 2013 to 2014 to 0.71. So that 1 year, something happened. Something happened in that 1 year. And then look, it just nosedives and never went back up. Not one of those years did it ever go back up. Ever. Now, when you look at this, could this have anything to do with the fact is this was when Trump was talking about running for presidency? Could this be when Trump was talking about running for presidency? And that's when he lost all of his viewers. Because somebody said it, I don't remember who said it, but somebody said it, is the nighttime shows should not be talking about politics. They can do their shows, or they can do their jokes here and there, but they need to do them on both sides. They need to not talk about just one side. Don't go against just one side, because it isolates you. And by isolating yourself, you're removing yourself from half the population. And to me, when I look at this chart, that's what I'm seeing here. That is what I'm seeing here. Because it makes no sense. There's no other thing that can count for this. So that's the reason why I think that ABC said, you're no longer a cash cow for us. And, so if we fire you, we're going to pay you out the rest of your 8 months on your contract. It goes up to May 2026. So, and then we got to worry about you taking and talking about us and doing, being like Tucker Carlson and going and creating a YouTube channel or creating a channel someplace else, and it might compromise our contract or anything, or our sale going on. Again, this is all opinion based. I don't know what the final details are. The main details are about any of that. I've just heard it mentioned. But so for the best thing would be for them to do is to, hey, we're going to indefinitely suspend you, and they can keep him suspended until the end of his contract, and there's nothing he can do about it. I mean, they can literally keep him suspended to the end of his contract. What do you think the word indefinitely means? Or they can keep him suspended until after the sale is over with. And once the sale's over with, they can work out some type of arrangement. And then they might come back and say, hey, we'll put you back on the air. No more politics. Not one more word of politics. And if he doesn't agree, he would just stay indefinitely suspended. Again, this is all hypothetically. I'm just throwing stuff out there. So remember, a thumbs up. Do you think Charlie Kirk, do you think Jimmy Kimmel got indefinitely suspended over the assassination comment of Charlie Kirk? Or do you think he got indefinitely suspended so ABC didn't have to pay him out and they could shut him up for as long as the end of his contract and not have to worry about him coming back and saying anything and messing up a potential sale that's in the process of taking place? Also, don't forget to leave comments down below. As long as your comments are respectful, they will stay. Any other comments will be hidden. Thank you for watching. Thank you for giving me your time. And remember, if you don't vote, you don't make a difference. If you vote, you make a difference. This is Politics Around Washington, and I'm out of here.